I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
And it was pretty much said like, Jay doesn't really want awards. Well, he go to the Grammys.
Right.
He you know, come into the black-owned spaces. Let's figure out how to work together so that way we have the relationship when it matters, not when it's convenient for you and your image. Because they all call us when the story is up that they don't like.
JasonLee just declared open war on Beyoncé, and this time, he's naming names. According to Lee, Jay-Z and Beyoncé are working behind the scenes to destroy his career, blacklist him from the industry, and shut him up for good.
Why?
Because he says he stumbled onto information that could crack the flawless image the Carters have protected for decades. Lee claims he's been banned from platforms, cut off by media outlets, and stalked by industry insiders, all following the same orders. In his words, "They're trying to destroy me, all because I found dirt on them." He says he has receipts, hidden payoffs, secret deals, and a 20-year pattern of silencing journalists and employees through NDAs, money, and intimidation. And the timing? Explosive. Jay-Z's name is now resurfacing in a civil case tied to a 2000 afterparty with Diddy, right as federal investigators dig through Diddy's massive pile of allegations. Whether Lee is exposing a real conspiracy or poking the most powerful couple in entertainment, the battle has officially begun.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
JasonLee isn't even talking about Jay-Z anymore. He's aiming straight at Beyoncé. He claims she's the real mastermind, the strategist behind every move, while the world keeps its eyes on Jay-Z's scandals. In Lee's words, Beyoncé isn't just an artist, she's the puppeteer, and that's why what he's saying hits so hard. Fans see her as a goddess, a symbol of power, but Lee says behind the flawless image is a machine built on silence and fear. He hints that everything traces back to the early 2000s, the moment Beyoncé's rise began. The same era when R&B star Aaliyah died in that tragic and still questioned plane crash. The pilot wasn't certified, toxicology reports raised flags, and witnesses said Aaliyah didn't even want to board the plane. That's when theories started, claims she knew too much. Now JasonLee is suggesting his story touches that same timeline. So the real question is, what does he know? And how far is he willing to go?
Sweetest person you can know, very intelligent. She knew what she was about and she knew what she wanted to do with her life.
Insiders from that era remember exactly how tight the circle around Rockefeller Records used to be. Jay-Z, Damon Dash, and Diddy were all moving in the same orbit, and Aaliyah was connected to every part of it. She dated Dame Dash, and there were long-standing rumors that Jay-Z was interested in her before Beyoncé ever entered the picture. Even back then, whispers of rivalry followed the group everywhere. Some in the industry say Aaliyah's rising star posed a real threat. She was exploding in R&B at the exact moment Beyoncé was preparing to launch her solo career. The idea that Aaliyah's tragic death somehow cleared the lane for Beyoncé has always been dismissed as internet speculation, but JasonLee is dragging that theory back into the light and placing it in a much darker context. He's pointing to what he calls a familiar pattern. The same network investigators are now looking at in the Diddy case, a network of powerful figures linked through private parties, closed rooms, private jets, and a culture of silence. And according to Lee, Beyoncé isn't just connected to that network. He claims she's one of the few people who can control it. That accusation hits uncomfortably close to the social media theories that resurfaced earlier this year after Diddy's arrest on racketeering and trafficking charges. TikTok users began recirculating old clips of celebrities praising Beyoncé, suggesting those public tributes were coded signals of loyalty. Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Diddy all have been accused by conspiracy channels of belonging to an elite group of gatekeepers, the people who decide who rises and who disappears. Normally, these theories stay buried on the fringe corners of the internet. But now, with JasonLee breathing life into them, they're exploding into the mainstream.
Weirdo. Don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
And beneath all the noise, there are real court documents and real timelines that can't just be dismissed. Jay-Z's name resurfaced in a civil complaint filed in New York in late 2024, alleging an assault involving a 13-year-old at a music event back in 2000. His lawyers call it extortion, a complete fabrication. But the moment his name appeared next to Diddy's, the old questions about those chaotic Rockefeller years came roaring back. JasonLee claims those questions don't actually point to Jay-Z. They point to Beyoncé. He says she was the quiet fixer, the one pulling strings, using influence and fear to erase anything that could damage her husband or her brand. We can't verify that, but the timing is brutal. Every new headline about Jay-Z's case drags Beyoncé into the spotlight, and Lee seems determined to keep her there. Meanwhile, Aaliyah's story continues to surface like a shadow that refuses to fade. Investigators have revealed unsettling details about her final hours. Witnesses say she didn't want to fly, that she was given a pill, fell asleep, and was carried onto the plane. Reports confirmed the aircraft was massively overweight. Yet despite all the negligence, the legal settlements were sealed and buried. To JasonLee, and to those who share his suspicions, that secrecy doesn't look like routine legal procedure. It looks like the industry protecting its own, no matter the cost.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé, who was struggling.
JasonLee is now hinting at something even bigger. He claims new information about Aaliyah's final interactions with Dame Dash and Jay-Z is about to surface. And according to him, it reveals a long-running pattern of elimination that started before Beyoncé became untouchable. It's the kind of allegation that could end careers or get someone sued instantly. But Lee says he's past the point of caring. He claims he's already been pushed out of the events, the labels, the insider circles that once fed him exclusive intel. So now, he's turning those same connections into weapons, teasing recordings, dates, and even old contracts that he says expose how deep Beyoncé's control goes. What's shocking isn't just the accusations, it's how strategic his narrative has become. Lee is drawing lines between Diddy's lawsuits, Jay-Z's civil cases, and the strange tragedies that have circled their world for decades. He's posted old photos of Aaliyah with Jay-Z, screenshots of settlements, and even snippets from closed-door executive meetings, real evidence. Performance art? At this point, it barely matters. The internet is hooked, and the speculation is spreading like wildfire. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's camp has stayed completely silent. And statements, and denials, and legal threats. Nothing. And that silence is gasoline. Creators are stitching old interviews, analyzing body language, connecting Beyoncé to the same elite. Circle's prosecutors say Diddy used to hide his alleged crimes. And all that chaos. JasonLee is thriving. He's positioning himself as the whistleblower the mainstream media ignored. The only one bold enough to point a finger at the queen herself.
Talking earlier, it feels different to be married. It really does. And it feels good, doesn't it?
Feels great.
And how long were you and Jay-Z together before you got married?
Oh gosh, listen to me. I'm about to start yapping. We've been together a long time. It's been about 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
7 years. But it does feel different, doesn't it?
What's happening right now feels less like gossip and more like the start of something explosive. If JasonLee truly has the receipts, he claims, this could shake the shield that has protected some of the biggest names in music for decades. But he's playing with fire. Every time someone tried linking Beyoncé or Jay-Z to Aaliyah's final years, the story vanished instantly. Posts deleted, sources discredited, platforms glitching. Lee knows that history, and he's still pushing forward. And the response came fast. Mentions of him quietly disappeared. Old interviews stopped showing up. Anonymous warnings claimed his accounts were compromised. Friends say he can't log in, messages are missing, long-time contacts have gone silent. Digital blackouts like that don't happen by accident. There's a pattern. Critics of Beyoncé's inner circle often hit an invisible wall. A consultant lost a contract after accusing her team of awards manipulation. A fashion writer had private messages leaked after criticizing her. Another commentator claims he was blacklisted for questioning her political ties. None of it ever traces back to Beyoncé. But insiders say her team is skilled at punishment without fingerprints. Now, verified accounts are suddenly painting Lee as unstable and desperate, smear campaigns like that don't happen organically.
Beyoncé and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them.
Jay-Z's ongoing lawsuit from 2024 has only added fuel to the fire. Legal filings claim he attended a 2000-era afterparty tied to Sean Combs. No criminal charges exist, but the optics are damaging. Beyoncé's team has reportedly worked hard to distance her brand from the fallout. Lee isn't letting it go. He says Jay-Z is just the face, Beyoncé is the brain, turning crises into silence. Some of Lee's leaks hint at behind-the-scenes influence. An unreleased recording of an exec describing a 2017 awards show reshuffle, documents showing mysterious payment transfers when a collaborator's lawsuit quietly disappeared, alone, small details. Together, they form a trail circling back to Beyoncé. If Lee really has these receipts, it explains why people are suddenly afraid to repost his stories.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
We have to ask, is this survival or revenge? JasonLee built his career on exposing the industry, but he's lost allies and money along the way. Going after the most powerful woman in music looks suicidal, unless he has protection from another camp. A former Revolt producer claims Lee's timing isn't random, that he's aligned with people trying to pull Beyoncé and Jay-Z into the expanding Diddy investigation. And the overlap is hard to ignore. Each week, new cases connect the same elite network. Secret meetings, silenced insiders, corporate cover UPS. If Lee's evidence connects to those files, this stops being celebrity drama. It becomes a spotlight on an entire system built to protect wealth and image. In Lee's version, Beyoncé sits at the center of that system. Not just a star, but the architect. When threats like this hit, the playbook is always the same. Lawyers, cease and desist letters, quiet payouts. But Lee isn't backing down. He's promising a live broadcast with proof, the kind that could rewrite music history or end his career entirely. One associate even hinted he's already filed for protection, suggesting he knows exactly how dangerous this is. Because if his recordings and documents are real, they point to more than PR manipulation, alleged interference in court cases, media payoffs, even influence over jury selections in an industry where millions move through silent foundations and sealed records. That kind of power suddenly doesn't look impossible, just hidden.
And very, very honored that I got the response and the open heart, and people welcomed the album. The love I got from the country community tonight really made me feel so seen, and I'm very grateful.